afternoon and welcome to Rubbin Minds. My name is Isabella Adediji. A beautiful Sunday, and we're glad you've joined us for what promises to be a packed and amazing show. We start off with headlines from the past week. Quite a lot happened in the past week, from the policeman just abusing the power he had and assaulting someone wearing AI-powered glasses despite producing documents. We also had what I think only happens in a country like Nigeria, where you have a former governor who's under investigation for alleged corruption, Kogi State Governor Yaya Bello, insisting that current serving lawmakers kneel before him. Those are some of the headlines which might just sound really strange, but they actually happened over the past week. To discuss this and more, I'm joined by a legal strategist, David Oluronti. David, welcome to Rubbin Minds.
Thank you very much for having me.
I don't know, but when you hear these headlines, they're almost stranger than fiction. You produce your documents. The policeman is there to protect, to serve. And despite having all your documents, because you're wearing AI-powered glasses, you're getting assaulted. What does this say about the security architecture we have in this country and the line between protecting and abusing power?
First of all, I must say it's very sad. I hope that the victim in this case pursues his rights, because I think that in general, as Nigerians, we forgive a lot of things. We're known to be very patient and easygoing people eventually when things become tough. Of course, it says a lot about our security architecture and, you know, understanding of the uniformed man on the street as to what his purpose is being on that street. If in the back of his mind he realizes that his first function is to protect and serve on that street, then I don't think his approach will be to slap someone all because they had the glasses on.
So AI-powered glasses,
yes.
Some would say, okay, you're recording me without my permission.
Yes.
What does the law say when it comes to being recorded in public?
Yes.
And was there any infringement on the police officer's rights?
Yes. Personally, I don't think that there was. The police, so first of all, I think citizens generally have to understand that the police have a right to stop and search, and that's not diminished in any way by the use of AI or anything like that, right? Wearing your glasses, your sunglasses, for whatever reason, whether AI powered, whether recording or not, should also not be a problem under the law, because as a citizen, you're allowed to do that as long as you're not using it for any sinister purposes, right? If the police then approaches you and says, you know, let me see that, or let me inspect what that is, you have a right to be able to give them that and then make sure that they use it for whatever they want to see, and then they can return it back to you. I don't know any part of the law that then requires that they seize it or beat you up for wearing glasses, right? The question that comes to mind, or that one should be asking, was what was the purpose of the stop and search? Was it just to the documentation? How did we end up at a police officer slapping someone that he should be protecting on the streets? I don't know if there was any verbal altercation that might have led to that. So in law, you could say possible provocation or something like that. But it's clear that that police officer needs a lot of training and restraint. And I hope that Nigerians just generally know that there's no law that says that you cannot wear AI-powered glasses at a police stop and search. As a matter of fact, being a lawyer, I would recommend that you do, if possible, to avoid situations and scenarios like this. And there are procedures and methods to which to get redress. Of course, ultimately it's the courts, but I hope he gets a good lawyer, writes a petition to the IG of police, and also takes it up in court, right? There's also a complaints channel that I know that the police have. It will be good to submit that video there and see what they get from investigating however this occurred. Yeah.
I'd like us to move to the case of the former governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello. He's being investigated for alleged corruption charges by the EFCC, but yet he's able to command such power to the point that serving lawmakers are kneeling before him. What does this say about Godfatherism? What does this say about the office of the lawmakers? Where do you draw the line between doing what your godfather says and respecting the office and the people who've put their trust in you to serve them?
I think this is a very dicey situation, to be honest. Nigeria is a very culturally inclined society.
So a former governor,
yes,
not an Oba,
yes,
not a traditional
yes,
ruler,
yes,
not the Sultan.
Yes.
This is a former democratically elected governor.
Let's break it down a little bit like this, right? In every political arena, you're always going to find situations of godfatherism, right? And it's not peculiar to only Nigeria as in where, right? The question is, to what purpose does godfatherism serve? The person's interest or the general interest of all of us, right? In this scenario, I suspect, because I don't know personally, but I suspect that a lot of those House of Reps members or State House of Assembly members owed their political fortunes to the person of the former governor.
But people voted for these people. The former governor did not install them.
Understand this. Legally, there's nothing wrong with kneeling before somebody you respect. Constitutionally, there's nothing wrong, whether you're a House of Rep member, State House of Assembly member, president, you still have people you respect. So I personally have no problems with anybody kneeling down before anybody else. Would I personally kneel down before somebody? No. But I understand the cultural importance, and I think we also have to put these things in context. I'm not supporting bad behavior or godfatherism. I'm saying in our culture, it's important that you respect people who either help your fortunes or have brought you where you need to be.
You have to still address the issue of loyalty. Is your loyalty to the former governor who helped you politically, or is your loyalty to the people who elected you, people who queued under rain and sunshine and ensured that you were elected into office?
So the question is, by kneeling down before someone, does that stop your ability to provide for the people who have voted for you? That's the question we should be talking about and we should be answering. I'll give you another example. In the recent past, former President Olusegun Obasanjo instructed a gathering of elders and obas and all of them to stand up before him because he was addressing them. I didn't see much brouhaha about that. Maybe because Obasanjo is significantly older in age, and so people accept it. If we can accept that, why can't we accept that Yaya Bello is their political godfather? Is it right that he asks people to kneel or whatever for whatever reason? I don't think so. But I don't think he was also thinking that someone was recording it. The question again...
Yeah, kneeling down to greet is a different thing.
Yes.
That's culture.
Yes.
I'll probably kneel down, you put your hand or you prostrate.
Yes.
Greeting.
Yes.
But when we're now conversing, imagine us kneeling down to have this conversation. That's now gone beyond greeting.
I understand that. And then the question that, which is why I said, I won't focus on you kneeling down. I'll focus on what is being said. A lot of what was being said in that short clip bothered me much more than they kneeling down. When a former governor is telling his political stooges while they are kneeling down that any bill that is brought before them by the sitting governor must be passed, whether or not they understand. I have a problem with that more than the fact that they knelt down. And I will continue to insist that the kneeling down part of it, if it was not recorded for our viewing, we will never know.
Yes, but kneeling down for a whole conversation, these are serving lawmakers.
So another thing that I would also point out is they were not in the State House of Assembly. It seemed like they were in... And I'm not defending anybody, please. Let it be very clear that I do not speak for Governor Yaya Bello or anybody that was involved in that. But they seemed like they were in a small space that couldn't contain everybody. I don't know what had happened before or thereafter. I want to assume that he was trying to make sure everybody could, contain that space, hence why he asked that maybe they sit and kneel.
But no.
Was it okay? Would I do it? No.
And would you expect your lawmaker to be on their knees? Like they represent power. That's what it is. When we put our trust through our ballots, into saying you are going to represent us, then there's an office that should be respected. So them staying on their knees for a conversation with a former governor begs the question of their loyalty.
I'll ask you this. If that same State House of Assembly member was kneeling before his mother or grandmother in the village for a whole conversation, despite the power he holds, would you have a problem with it?
A grandmother,
yes,
a mother, yes. This is a familiar setting.
This is a godfather as well.
This is politics we're talking about. Yes. And what we're saying, if you were okay with it and you're saying, oh, let's not question it, then is that what is going to be expected for all the other lawmakers? Again, is this not an anomaly?
It is an anomaly, and I want to make that clear. It is an anomaly. Would I put myself in such a position? I hope never to be found wanting that way. But the question, again, that I want critically answered, and I think it is more important than the act of kneeling down at any point, is what was being said to them. How does anyone advise a State House of Assembly to willy-nilly turn a blind eye to whatever is presented before them and pass them throughout the tenure just for peace sake? I am not asking that there be fights or that they become, you know, antagonistic towards the governor, but
the former governor.
Because he was advising them on behalf of the on the present governor.
The conversation is one thing, but I think is what it says to the populace. What we're saying now is that, okay, going forward is an expected thing, that they should continue to kneel. And the person in question is not that old. You gave the example of a grandmother. Yes. You cannot compare the age of a grandmother, maybe an 80-something-year-old or 90-something-year-old, to Yaya Bello.
I agree with you.
He's still young. He's not even in office.
I agree with you.
And whatever he has to say, I feel like there should be some respect for the office and the position they hold.
And I agree with you. And I think that they've put themselves in that position where, I mean, so think about it this way. If one person in that short clip was to stand up and say, I am not kneeling down, what do you think the outcome of that would have been for that person in the immediate? Maybe in the future he comes out a hero, but in the immediate right there, how would that have ended for him? Number two would be the question about the level of education and the type of people we vote into power, right? There are parts of Nigeria where the politics is still as, how would I put it, grand and old, like you would have back in the days, right? And there are parts of Nigeria where down in the west here, Lagos, Abuja, people are a lot more, you know, understanding, more modern in how they approach these things. What I would say is the takeaway from it in terms of who are the people participating in the politics back home. If a lot of people from Kogi State are living in Lagos and Abuja and all those places, who are they living the politics of their town to? If you are living into the local people there who are not as educated or as civilized as they should be, you're going to expect things like that.
I think it must be said that if a whole sitting governor is kneeling before the ex-governor, then the lawmakers in their defense might say, well, this is what our principal is doing. But I think it should definitely be frowned upon, and it should not be seen as normal, whether in the aspect of culture or not. Like, there should be some respect for the office.
And I think the EFCC has a lot of questions to answer as to what is happening with, you know, their interrogation and investigation into his case.
You know, you were saying something about the people who are actually electing these people, and I don't know whether this is something for us to be happy about, the record numbers of 500,000 people registering for their PVC, because, yes, it's great, but does this always translate to polls? Does it always translate to the ballot sheet? What do you make of this frenzy to go and get the voter's card?
I think it's a brilliant thing. I think it's good to see that there's a large number of people looking to participate in the upcoming elections. Will it translate into more people voting? Given our history and our precedent, I don't believe so. Because there's a myriad of things that result in people coming out to vote. You know, safety on the day, who are the people on the ballot, you know, am I allowed to be in one place and vote for elections where I come from, or do I have to be in that place personally to be able to vote? So there are a lot of factors that will eventually eat into whether those numbers will translate into actual votes. But to see that the political space is heating up and people are beginning to take note and participate is a good thing. I hope, however, that these are not phantom numbers. And political parties do play these games, you know, where you have mass registrations of new intakes into parties and things like that. But let's see what the trend is leading up to 2027. I think there's a lot of talk already around 2027. You know, there's a new party now, ADC, I think they're called. The current sitting people are already looking at re-election. So now is the time to begin to get your voter's card and register for those things. And hopefully come 2027, they do participate in the elections.
Another thing that we must touch on before we're out of time is the accidents that we've seen on the road, particularly when it comes to the Dangote trucks. And now we're seeing them invest in training. Is this supposed to be led by them, like a corporate social responsibility, or is this something that the government should have enforced all along, or do you think they're just saving face?
I think it's a combination of all three. When you work in corporate space, you have to take all three together. It makes sense for them to retrain their drivers if there's an upsurge in, accidents on the road caused by them. It makes sense for the government to also come down hard on them and ensure that there's good training for these drivers, and it's good corporate social responsibility. We all want, corporate entities that take responsibility where they are failing. So I'll give them a thumbs up, but I also think that the government needs to do a lot more because, Dangote is one person. There are a lot more trucks that are riding our roads, especially in urban centers like Lagos and Abuja, where, there's a large population of people on the road. It's important that they are trained about what to do, when to be on the road. Sometime in the past under Governor Fashola, I believe, in Lagos State, we used to have a curfew around what time those guys can be on the road. Maybe that's something to begin to look at national-wide, I don't know. But the truth is, I'll give Dangote kudos for at least taking that step, recognizing that, listen, there's been a myriad of cases and an upsurge in these accidents. We need to do something about this and retrain these guys. I think that should be a plus to them. But it shouldn't also stop the government for sanctioning them where they fail at doing the right things, especially the individuals who are driving these things. You can't be on drugs. You can't not have good sleep before you get behind the steering, taking alcohol. You see some of them on their phones, or trying to get on tiny roads that these trucks can clearly not fit on. So,
and speaking of the drivers, some of them are not even literate. Some of them are not able to string a sentence together. So it then begs the question of what are the standards when it comes to recruiting drivers, and what's the government doing to ensure that only the right people are being able to get into such positions?
So I think it's a funny thing because you use the word literate. And I don't think that, and I
literate,
think
you have to be able to read signs. You have to be able to.
So you have to be road literate, not literate in the sense of formal education. Is what I was trying to say.
But how would you pass your driving test if you are not literate?
If there are people
your theory driving test, not just the practical one.
There are people who are able to do those things without having to go to formal education, and I think it's important that we distinguish that because I think that generally, as Nigerians, we attach a lot of responsibility to being educated or literate to do something. You can be literate and be a drunkard. You can be literate and be a drug addict. You could have passed the theory and know how to read all the signs, and you were drunk on that day and decided to kill people. So I think there's a small dichotomy there. However, I do admit that there's a level of literacy required for you to drive. That literacy is gotten in training. So if those people are being trained right now, then we can't but give them kudos, right? The next question then will be, is that up to standard, international standards? That is up to the government to then enforce and ensure that it is. But yeah, I don't see a problem with people who may not have gotten, university education, being able to get behind a wheel.
Okay. So, as we bring this segment to a close, I think you've raised very important points because, like you said, the EFCC still has their work to cut out for them because we can't have a former governor just displaying such brute power and nobody's able to call him to question. I think Nigerians are more interested in him going to answer to the alleged corruption charges. So much to discuss, but we're sadly out of time. Thank you so much, David Oluronti, legal strategist, for joining us on Rubbin Minds.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. We'll now go on a quick break on Rubbin Minds. Don't go anywhere.
Come on.
Welcome back to Rubbin Minds. Our conversation moves to the youth, and when it comes to their habits online, what are the young people consuming? When we look at what trends in Nigeria, it usually has to do with something very frivolous or a relationship breakdown, something happening to people. And when it comes to the serious matters, the ones that have the potential to affect our destinies, the comment section is very, very empty. The numbers are very low. And that begs the question, what interests, what excites the Nigerian youth? To answer this question, amongst others, I have with me Folu Ogunshilu, a digital marketer. Welcome to Rubbin Minds.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. And also joining us is Bello, a media strategist and blogger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, both of you, this is your terrain, the digital world. And I would ask, when it comes to trending, when was the last time you've seen something serious, something important, something that has the potential to affect Nigerian youth for the better trend? Or do you see more of the negative trend? I'll start with you, Folu.
All right, thank you very much. When we talk about important conversations in this country, it's hard for an average person to say, this is what's important to me, and the next person agrees, because our context can be very different. When we look at it statistically, we say we are 200 million, but of these 200 million, over 100 of these 200 are living under the poverty line. So even in the common bus that you journey together, you are thinking something else. Another person is speaking from another perspective. So what's important to us is quite different. So when we relate that to the state of the nation, it's a very different conversation every time that we ask, oh, okay, so why are we talking about politically? What's going on here? And you say, oh, this is what matters. And somebody's telling you, he's my guy. Because he's from my tribe, I think he should do this. When we should be talking about, is he going to deliver what we ask him to do?
I'll pose the same question to you, Ayodele.
Okay, so for me, I think Nigerian youth really like to engage on frivolities, conversations that brings no profit, that brings no development to to our nation. And it's so sad that most times Nigerian youth, we youth, we engage in such conversations, and at the end of the day, that is just basically how unserious, the level of our unseriousness. It shows on our leaders, the kind of people we put in power. And it's just as simple as ABC. And that is why we see most of the things that happens, in our society, the way our leaders treat us, is just because of a level of unseriousness. So assuming we have followers that are serious when it comes to nation building, of course, it's going to reflect on, most of our leaders. So most of this social media thing that we use, those Western countries that all those things came from. We see how they use it. It's not that they don't use, they don't involve themselves in all these, other social vices, internet bubbling and all like that, but they still make sure that they use it when it comes to nation building. But are we doing that in our own country? No.
I want to steer the conversation to the bloggers. Is it a chicken and egg situation? Are the bloggers giving the Nigerian youth what they want or what they think will give them good numbers, or are the blogs taking that responsibility to ensure that they are disseminating information that will help the youth?
To respond to that question, at the end of the day, bloggers are also citizens. So they have a responsibility to push certain news. Also, at the same time, we understand that media can be controlled, and it's largely controlled. So while we say, okay, yes, they push these things to get their numbers, at the same time, there's a responsibility that they carry as a citizen to push out the right thing. But given that a lot of times, like I said earlier, the state of mind of a lot of Nigerian youth is not where it should be. The focus is not there. So when you say, oh, governor, or rather like the recent news about the president increasing the salaries, while we just talked about saving fuel subsidy, you get that reaction there, and you're now talking about, oh, okay, this is what the government is also planning to do on this end. When as a blogger, you see the reactions, you want more of what is working. So yeah, that's what usually happens.
So you're only feeding people what will give you the numbers, the virality, the likes, the follows, at the altar of credible, useful, positive, nation-building information, for lack of a better word.
I mean, like you said, you know, it's a business, and I appreciate the fact that you use the word blogger, because they are not journalists, just like, I mean, what you're doing and myself, right? You know, so blogging on its own, on its own, it's a way of, you know, pushing a narrative that you want people to talk about, right? And it's like a clickbait. You just want that clickbait. Like, okay, oh, this thing is trending. Let us push this thing. We want them to, you know, keep the conversation rolling, right? You know, it's just like we media, you know, when we want to, you know, set an agenda, right? We have a way of, you know, pushing a narrative, or, I mean, telling a news story, right? But bloggers, you know, went ahead to, they go further to expand, you know, issues like, you know, any particular issue, they expand it, and all because they just want to get a clickbait and make people, you know, keep the conversation, you know, in the society. But at the same time, we still need to understand that most of the bloggers that we have in Nigeria, everybody wants to get money for themselves. So it is not about what is going to benefit the nation or the Nigerian citizen. It is what is going to benefit them as an individual. And that is the mindset that needs to change. And when you're talking about bloggers, we're talking about individuals that also have followers, right? And it is sad that these people don't really talk about issues that is going to shape our country in a better way. That we engage the youth to talk about things that is going to bring, you know, profit in nation building. Just of recent, we are talking about, just like it started an example. We are talking about fuel subsidy. Just by January, we've been told that 5% tax will be added to the purchase of PMS at the front. No, Nigerians are not. Nigerians, you don't even understand. How many of them do even read these things? They don't know. But now, they are, instead of them to, you know, to be talking about this thing that is going to affect everyone, they are busy talking about University of Kogi, wisdom and knowledge. I mean, that says a lot of how Nigerian youth, you know, how we engage in frivolities, rather than things that is going to, you know, transform our lives personally and also transform, you know, the political landscape of our nation.
Do you think, Folu, that the blogs or the social media influencers, the content creators, should take that responsibility as, you could say, maybe a continuation of the media, that even when money is not coming in, they have a moral obligation to the people they are serving, considering just the sheer amount of power and influence they have?
Like you just said, given the sheer amount of power they wield, like I said earlier, at the core of it, they are citizens. As a citizen, you should have the interest of the country at heart. So while you might not be able to force people to vote or take them to the polling booth, you can convince them with the content. So, I mean, you might not be all news of that sort, but prioritize that kind of news in your blogging.
So even if they're going to take a cut or a hit to their bottom line,
at the end of the day, when it gets better for you too. So I think we have to invest in the long run. Understand that whatever you do at the end of the day, it benefits you. When you look at it from that perspective, you prioritize those kind of things more. Breaking it down to the common man to make him understand what these policies and acts mean for them.
Do you think the government needs to come in here, where we've seen what happened in television, radio, where local content became a thing? So instead of seeing the Mexican and Brazilian soap operas, you're now seeing Nigerian productions. Is that the same thing that we should be expecting from the government when it comes to that online space? Ensuring that certain amount of content, a percentage, is devoted to conversations on nation building?
Well, I think they don't need to tell us before we do what we're supposed to do. An American is not going to come to Nigeria and fix a country for us. It is we Nigerians that are saddled with the responsibility of fixing our nation by ourselves. Just like I said before, all these influences that we have in Nigeria, if you look at them, you look at the numbers they have in terms of followership. How many of them are really talking and using their platform about talking about Nigerian issues? Now, I'm going to set an example. For example, a very black dark man. Just yesterday, there is this issue going on, trending online about kidnapping that happened in Auchi Road while it was, was just going. And this guy went on live. He was making videos, making Nigerians to see what is going on. Like, Nigerian is drowning on daily basis. And this guy has been doing, great jobs. Not just only him. We have the likes of Randy Peters. We have the likes of Mama P. We have so many of them. When you get into Nollywood, we have the likes of Iyabojo. We have the likes of Biola Adebayo, Biola Bayo. Like, so many of them, they are using their platforms, to talk about, the illness in our society, right? But we still have many of our Nigerian youth and influencers that have followership and they have numbers. I'm going to mention names. We have the likes of Pella. Just imagine someone like Pella is talking about the illness in our society, using his platform. Look at Jarvis. We have them, so many of them, that they have this followership, they have this strength. But, okay, now, for like...
But doesn't that beg the question of our values as a people? If we have values on trust, on accountability, honesty, on building a nation, those values, who is helping online and offline to preserve those values, especially with the younger ones coming up?
I hope that this phrase is correct, but I will refer to social engineering. When the government invests in that manner. I grew up learning history in primary school, and to a very great deal, that's given me a perspective of what my country looks like, it used to look like, where we are coming from and where we should be heading. So I think that maybe not the government investing in social re-engineering, but institutions, businesses looking into that, perhaps a CSR, organizing funds, the way these media houses or rather media brands like YouTube do. If there is something like that, so people of such, bloggers, do not have to bother too much about income, and they can prioritize this kind of education. Talking about the names you mentioned, doing this kind of social awareness, it can be a bit overwhelming for their viewers. But when we look at YouTube creators, there's a booming industry in that sense now. They can pass messages. It's the same way a lot of us grew up with rhymes to learn about AIDS and all of those kind of things. When we pass it educatively in that manner, I think that the goal can be achieved.
Okay. Any final words, because we're out of time?
Okay. So as for me, I would like to say that Nigerians need to do more. We need to do more, especially those who have done numbers. That's followership strength, to talk about issues that are trending. I mean, issues that concerns development. I think if we do that more, then our leaders will take us serious, because it's because of our unseriousness. That is why we have most of the leaders that are, are in power. I mean, unserious people that are in power right now. So if we citizens are serious, of course, they will sit up.
So this is a call out to those with the numbers and the followership to use their influence for nation building. Exactly. And that way we're taken seriously as a demographic, young people, by our leaders, and we can bring about that change. Important. Thank you very much, Ayodele Bello, and thank you very much, Folu Ogunshinu.
Thank you very much. Is it fine to add?
Okay, maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah, just like you mentioned, personnel like this, or big people like this, I think it's also important to add that businesses have to invest in these things, because at the end of the day, what business are you doing if the purchasing power is reducing? Yeah. As an individual, as a citizen, ensure to join organizations that can help you do your part in this journey. Yeah. There are a lot of organizations out there. JCI is one of them. There's a lot I could be mentioning right now, but importantly, as a citizen, we have a responsibility.
Yes, we do.
I guess the call out has been extended to businesses, to organizations, CSOs, to take dissemination of nation-building information a whole lot seriously, and for us as the people to take ourselves seriously even in what we consume online. We'll take a break now. The show continues shortly. Don't go anywhere. Their Big Brother journey might be over, but their story is far from over. They've entertained us and they've made their time in the Big Brother house very worthwhile for the viewers. Today we're going to be speaking to two of them. They'll share the ups, the lows, and of course their plans for the future. I have with me Kaikumi Ajibade. Welcome to Rubbin Minds.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
And also Daniel Olatunji Dambo's kid, actor model.
Yeah.
Welcome to Rubbin Minds.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So both of you are former Big Brother Naija season 10 housemates. I'll start with you, Kaikumi. Was it always a dream to go into the Big Brother house, or is this something recent? And how did you go about making that a reality?
To be honest, Big Brother is a platform, it's a show that everybody, always watch when it's time, when that time of the year comes. It's something I've always been watching. And this year I just applied, and for some reason it worked. God just,
So this was your first time?
First time,
wow.
People have always been telling me to go on the show, but I never, went on the show. I never attempted. But this year I just got that push. And then I went on the show, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity.
Okay, we'll come back so you tell us some of the high moments. I'll move to you, Dambo's kid. Was this always a dream? And was this your first time trying?
Well, it has always been a dream since the first season, honestly, because
wow.
I saw the exposure it gave everyone. Yeah, and I think around 2017, 2018, I just said to my friends, jokingly, I'm like, I'm going to come to Big Brother, jokingly, and then it left my head. And then last year, I did go for the, where you have to submit an email. I just did that, but like it didn't work out. So I tried this year again. And trying this year was a bit corny because honestly, when I signed up online, the whole space for Lagos was filled up. So I was like, nah, I have to audition for this. Then I had to put it to Abuja. So I flew down to Abuja for the audition. And going there, yeah, on the time and day they set for me, yeah, they told me they couldn't find my name. So like it was going up and down. I'm like, what's going on here? I have to travel back here. And then happily for me, the next day they called me and they were like, they figured it out. And then I should come for my audition. And that's how narrowly I got into the house.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Now let's speak about the house itself. Was it all that you imagined it to be? Did it live up to its reality? Or were there some things that just shocked you like, wow, I didn't expect this? I'll start with you.
It blew my mind, for real. Like, what you saw on TV is what is there. It's even finer, the decor,
yeah.
like, the ambience, everything is actually really beautiful. Big Brother actually, kept us in mind when it was actually putting this social experiment together. The rooms, everything comfortable. The space too was also very, very, for everybody.
I mean, you're talking about the physical, the decor. We're talking about the drama, the photo. Do you have any regrets? Things you would have done differently? Leave decor.
Okay, most definitely. Everybody, everybody in the house, every housemate came with their 10/10 game. Everybody's a character. Me myself, I'm a character. I regretted not putting myself more out there. I'm the king of mischief. There were so many mischievous things that I could have started doing in the house, also talking about my fashion brand. But, I didn't start, putting myself out there in the beginning, but later I started showing them that, I'm somebody that you should not mess with, I still capable of bread and nobody ever expected that.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person that will be in the background that you will not ever suspect that I'm that kind of person. So, yeah, those are the things I regret, not putting myself more out there. But now that I'm out of the house, this is the time to also change the narrative and what's next.
Dambo's kid, let's go there. I mean, both of you are in ships. Your significant others are still in the house.
Yeah.
I mean, how's that going for you?
I mean, it's going pretty much cool because honestly, with what I could see from the house, yeah, she's actually still committed to the part. I mean,
so you don't think she's going to ship with anyone else? She's going to stay faithful to you throughout?
I mean, she was still having a chat with Roboy while I was watching outside. Yeah, she said if she wasn't with me, she don't see anybody in the house who she could be with. So I mean, those are words of assurance to just keep holding on. And yeah, that's what I feel. She's still keeping on to it.
What about you, Kaikumi? Out of the house, can we say that you're also keeping your own side of the bargain of the ship? Or, I mean, you're laughing, you're smiling. Or have you fallen by the way?
No, the ship is still, we're still on track. We're still on track. Everything is just down to conversations.
So the ship is okay for you, but are you not watching this show? Did you not see her kissing? Like, the glasses, are you not seeing? Is it a different show? Or that's allowed?
She's playing her game.
Oh, so it's okay?
I feel like she's playing her game, and if that's the way she wants to play her game, she wants to play her game. But like I said, everything has to, it all comes down to conversation. If it's something that we cannot see going forward, then this then to end.
Okay, so are you okay with it? Like, if she comes out and says she was playing her game, you guys will continue where you left off. You're still solid.
Let's see how it goes.
No, is that yes or a no?
Let's see how it goes.
Or are you also going to be playing your own game outside?
No, right now I'm busy. I'm trying to turn the narrative.
Is there any babe on your case? So you're fully committed.
I'm committed.
But is that the game she should be playing? Like, can she play a game that doesn't involve kissing someone else?
Like, I mean, people have different games. People have different strategy. You know. This is what it is.
If you are still in the house, this won't happen.
Most definitely.
So the game she was playing while you guys were there, wasn't that okay?
She said she's a seductress, you know, so like she just tries to, you know, steal relationships. So.
Still relationship.
So you're still happy with her being a seductress to other people while you're in the ship?
No, so like we're in the house, it was not something, you know, committed.
Yeah, it wasn't really a main ship.
It was not like a main ship.
Are you committed or you're not committed?
Okay.
Are you shipped or you're not shipped? Which one? Let's just clear the air.
There's no ship till we have a conversation outside of the house.
So the ship is over?
Yeah, the ship is over.
The ship is over because she kissed somebody. Is that what it is?
Like I said, I didn't get a confirmation from her in the house, so there was no like mean, you know, this is what it is. Like I said, we'll have a conversation.
I mean, going back now, would you have wanted to have that conversation? Is that something that you regret maybe not having? Because it must be disappointing seeing your babe kissing someone else now.
It is disappointing, you know. And also, like, there were some things that I didn't also, like, you know, I didn't also do right in the house. You know, there were so many times, like, she'll be in, like, midst of chaos or midst of, like, you know, arguments and all that, and I'm nowhere to be found. You know, so it can be understanding why she's doing what she's doing. You know, but it is what it is. Like I said, it all comes down to having a conversation outside of the house. You know, I will have to tell her the things I like, I don't like, I did not, you know, find this, you know, great what you did on the show and all that. So. Like I said,
Dambo's kid, what about you? Like, are there things that you regret not doing in the house? Are you okay? Your ship is still sailing strong? Or?
Well, honestly, I would say I'm pretty much okay. Yeah, I just had an issue before going into the house. Yeah, and I feel that is kind of the reason I'm out. Yeah, going into the house, I was supposed to go with the name King Zeus, because that was what I had on all my social media. But then when I went into the house, the management said they couldn't use that because of a branding issue. So they wouldn't want a brand coming to sue them. So I had to change the name while I was getting to the house. At that point, I didn't have any connection to the outside world anymore. So I couldn't change my social media or tell my handler to do that. So yeah, I had to go with Dambo's kid. Dambo's kid was like, is my first ever nickname. When I was a baby, I gave myself that nickname. So yeah, I had to go with that. And I feel that was an issue because coming outside, yeah, when I was evicted, I felt so bad because I was like, didn't the world see me for who I was? Didn't they like me or things like that? But then when I came outside and I changed my username, it was now easy for people who liked me to like follow up and then see the link to vote for me, which they didn't see in the previous week, which I feel that was why I was evicted. Now I just started having all the comments as well, saying that they couldn't find me and all of those. Immediately I changed my username. I had like over 10K followers in like 2 days. So like you could see that these people didn't actually find me and it was hard for them to vote. So that was an issue I felt really held on my side. Aside that, honestly, I felt I did my best in the house. I was being me, literally, so I wouldn't regret being me in the house. I just felt I came out of my shell quite late because the first week it was so chaotic. Coming into the house, the first Sunday there was fight already, and I'm like, what's going on? I don't want to approach somebody and then you want to approach me with chaos. So I was like, nah, let me just keep my pace and then watch everybody and see how everything goes. And that was when I actually now found Zita, yeah. So like that was why we were always together. Yeah. So like.
So it was a branding issue for you, people not being able to find you, so that led to your eviction. What do you think led to your own eviction, and how are you leveraging the fame, the platform for your business?
To be honest, I didn't really put a lot of things in place, before I went in the house, so something like my social media handler, also like you said, a lot of people I've been seeing on my timeline now that what's your handle? My handle before I got into the house was kumi.ajibade, and the name I took into the house was Kai Kumi. So that was also different. So a lot of people couldn't find my social media. But also in the house, what I would say didn't happen is I'll say that I didn't put myself, more out there. I didn't sell my brand, my clothing line. Also, like I said, I was very quiet. I was just in the background, just observing. So those are the things like I feel like, led to the eviction, because there are a lot of also like strong personalities in the house who from the first day they've been, they eat the ground running, they've been back to back, they've been on script, they've been in character.
They came prepared, like everything from their handler to their gameplay, everything. So who do you think is going to win this?
I feel like everybody has the opportunity to win this.
But if you had to choose one person?
There's so many strong personalities.
Or two people?
I would say Victory. I see Victory winning also because the guy loves arguments, loves being in the center of, attention, I also see someone like Rude Boy also winning, most definitely.
Okay. And you?
Well, I'll say I see Faith. Okay. Nobody sees him, so I feel he's now getting a little bit recognition, but then he's a game player. And then Emisi is doing a good job. Yeah, Emisi is actually doing a good job. She's acting and then she's top-notch in that.
So how are you leveraging the fame, the platform for your business and your work?
I feel I set my foundation before I got into the house. Yeah, I've been a model and an actor, and then I've
So are they calling you, like, offering you roles?
Getting outside of the house, I already got an audition form for Tintel. Okay. So, I mean, it's a gradual process, gradually, and then we'll get there. But then, before I got into the house, I was already in, like, 4 movies. So I just set that there, so the world was going to see me for who I was. I was going in for mostly the exposure. So, like, I could get seen in the kind of things I did. I've been a model for, like, 3 years now, and I've been doing quite well. I've been a pageant king. I won Mr. Ideal Abuja, Mr. Ideal Nigeria, Mr. Africa International. So I just wanted that exposure, and I'm going to use that to leverage on what I do to get more jobs. I influence, I create content. I'm a gym freak, so like once you go on Instagram, you get all of this.
And for you, has it helped your fashion business?
To be honest, yes. I'm getting, a lot of, attention. I'm getting lots of traction on my social media. Now I'm just trying to change it to the next level. Do a lot of add more female clothing to my brand because I never did female clothing. So now to include female into the 99 culture, because 99 culture is a movement. I also want to model. Before I got into the house, I work in a bank, 9 to 5. But now, I want to be in this space of, modeling. I want to act. Like you said, once straight out of the house, I feel Tinsel from. So most definitely, I'm going to get a call very soon from Tinsel. And also, fitness too. I'm not as big as Damboski.
But when it comes to the attention, surely like there will be the babes that are sliding into your DM. Like how are you dealing with all that attention?
Now that I'm out of the house, I'm just really trying to be focused. Those I know all those are going to come, most definitely. But this is the time whereby I have to put on my A game, be focused.
So you don't have time for babes?
I don't have time for that right now, to be honest. I'm just trying to, be at the right state of mind.
But how do you deal with the fame? You're going down the street, people are recognizing you. Are people billing you like, guys?
To be honest, billing has started coming in.
It has?
It has. And I just got out of the house, a lot of things are not yet in place. But now this is the time, this media rounds are also very important so people can know, what's next. So 99 culture is what's next. Male and female is a streetwear brand, So we're going to be selling, we're going to be doing, you can order online, you can also send a DM if you want to order. And like I said, not just model for my brand, model for other fashion brands,
I'm sure Dambo's kid can teach you a thing or two with his modeling thing. And he can cut soap for you. What about you? Like, how are you leveraging the fame? Now people are knowing you and the numbers are increasing, the phone is ringing. How are you dealing with all of that?
Well, I would say taking it a step by a step at a time. Yeah, because honestly, I wouldn't say this is not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. So I would say I was prepared for it. I've just been like putting myself out there, putting content on my own out there to let these people know that this is actually what I do for them to reach out. So yeah, and then handling the fame, I would say it's pretty much nice. It's just that I have to always go out with face masks these days.
Face mask, wow.
Because the other day I was out and then I had like 2-3 people, Dambo's kid, and honestly it's nice, but yeah, sometimes, yeah, I actually really like the attention more online than physically because I'm a shy person, trust me. I could be smiling now and I'm freaking out inside, so that's how it is.
What about the girls?
Honestly, like he said, focus, no time. I already have someone in mind, so I just focus on my craft right now.
To be honest. And yeah, I still have my bank, you know. So, I still have an opportunity to go back, most definitely. So 8 to 5 was also a consideration. So those are the things that are next for me.
Okay. So any final words?
I just want everybody to just, turn on their post notification because tonight culture is going global.
Watch out.
Internationally, locally. I'm going to be on your screens, on your TV, when it comes to acting, Netflix, Prime Video.
Let's go.
So we're going places most definitely. So you guys should please follow us on all our social media platforms, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, at official Kaikumi. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And you, any final words?
I'll just have to say thank you to everyone who have supported me in every way. I mean, I had so many supporters before I got into the house and after I got into the house. I just want to say a very, very big thank you to you guys. And for still some of you guys who can't find me, I changed my name to Dambo's Kid in all social medias. So just go search Dambo's Kid 01 and you'll find me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And I wish you all the best, Kaikumi and Dambo's Kid.
Thank you for having us.
To enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
All right, man. Thank you.
And this is where we'll be closing the show. My name is Isabella Adediji. Thank you for joining us on Rubbin Minds. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.